What must an entrepreneur assume when they're starting a business? You know what? We're gonna hit the top 4 things that as an entrepreneur, that's what you gotta assume. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. All right, so my name is Kris Kluver. I started my first of 16 companies when I was 19. I have built them, bought them, sold them, and wrecked a couple. I have helped hundreds and hundreds of people build businesses, test businesses, vet businesses, and sell businesses. I've got 4 that I've worked with that have gone from entrepreneurial all the way to almost $1 billion market caps. So it is possible. But what are some of the very basic core things that you need to check out? And there's a whole bunch on this channel, so have at it. There's all sorts of different pieces. But to me, the 4 primary things are, first, you gotta be accountable. What I mean by that is the person you saw this morning brushing your teeth, it's that person who's made your life beautiful and giving you the opportunities to be where you are. And it's also that person that's fully accountable for any of the challenges that may come up. So if you're not the type of person who's really willing to be accountable when you step into things, it's gonna be a little bit hard. You're the boss. Quote unquote, the old school buck stops with you. Now, this doesn't mean you have to do everything. It's one of my biggest challenges is getting people over the mindset and the hurdle and changing that mindset from just because you can doesn't mean you should. Now, maybe when you're starting, it's okay. I'm actually coaching some folks out at MIT right now, and they're in the process, they're in the incubator, we're rolling out of it, and they're in the process of figuring some of that out. They're doing a lot, more than I'd like, but what are the resources that are out there to get it done? But again, it doesn't mean though that you have to make sure it is getting done. They were having challenges today, like with their legal team. Fair enough, it happens. They weren't getting it done. They have to go rattle the cages. I'm not telling them to go write the papers, to set the documents, to create the new corporation, but they do need to lean into it and own it and rattle the cages to make sure that it is getting done. So the number 1 thing is you've got to be accountable for the good and the bad. The more modest you can be with the good, own it, take a little bit, but don't be a braggish little dick about it. Don't be afraid of being humble in those cases. And then when negatives happen, own that. And that's what we're going to talk about next. The second thing is you have to have a mindset that fully embraces and understands that things will go wrong. Or they may not even go wrong, but they're not going to go the way you expect. And that's going to be okay. If you're the type of person just like, terrible, that things are going bad, it's all right. Stop. You got to learn how to step back and say, all right, this ship blew up. Okay, what do we learn? It's interesting, when I'm talking with entrepreneurs versus corporate, I coach high-end corporate guys who think they're entrepreneurs and vice versa, but you can really tell a genuine entrepreneur when you ask an entrepreneur, hey, tell me about a mistake you made. And they'll be like, oh my God, dude, this was a total shit show. Oh my God, couldn't believe it, lost my, we celebrate, as entrepreneurs, oddly, we celebrate those failures. Because what it means is that it gives us the opportunity to do the third piece, the number 3 thing, is to overcome those. So the first is making sure you're accountable. Second, understanding and embracing that stuff's gonna go sideways. Doesn't mean we don't look for opportunities to mitigate that. We're always doing that. I don't want stuff to go sideways, but it's going to. So it's okay if you're willing to say, look, it's gonna happen. I wanna mitigate that. But then the third thing is that you've got to know you're gonna get there, that you're gonna survive, that you're gonna work through it. And what I mean by this is I can tell even by people's language when they're working. Sometimes I'll be interviewing somebody if I maybe even invest or considering coaching them. And they'll be like, so what are you guys planning? What are you gonna do here? It's like, oh, well, we're planning on gonna try and do this. And then if that works, then we're gonna hopefully go over here. And then maybe we're gonna do this if it works. And we'll look at these things this way. And I'm just like, ooh, stop. Do you guys see how much of those language and try and wish and hope and maybe and sorta, you guys are giving yourself permission to fail all over the place. That makes me nervous as hell. I'm not gonna invest with that company. But when I see somebody who says, yeah, we're gonna go here. I'm like, how you doing it? I'm not really sure. And if it goes sideways, well, we're gonna figure it out. I want an entrepreneur to have the mindset that says, you know what? Yeah, there's a big roadblock. Oh God, I'm walking away. No. Entrepreneur's like, well, nobody else is getting through, so how do I go around this? Do I go over it? Do I go around it? Do I blow it up? Do I dig underneath it? What is it? How do I get through it? But I am, and I'm going there. And when you have that attitude, it's amazing the people you'll attract. All right, so first thing, making sure you're accountable. Second, embracing that things will go wrong and not freaking out. Third, when they do go wrong, understanding that you're gonna make it work. You're gonna figure it out. Don't know how, but we're gonna do it. And then the last thing, and this is something that so much people forget, is to be having fun. If you enjoy what you're doing, this sounds crazy, but particularly the younger generation's actually getting there. They're act together and figuring this shit out. If you enjoy what you do, you're gonna do a better job. If it's the opportunity, I can make a lot of money, but you hate doing it, you're gonna hate going in, and you're not gonna be as good at it. So make sure whatever it is you choose to do as an entrepreneur, make sure that you're having fun with it. So if you found any value with this, hopefully you did. We've got a whole bunch of other videos on this channel. Check them out, subscribe, like, ask us questions, reach out. You can find us at aspiringsolopreneur.com. But love to hear any comments. Keep smiling.